Booyaka, booyaka, booyaka. It's the Gatekeepers Musically Speaking Podcast, gkmsp, Season 2, Episode 9, premiering air Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's verbal Vayne in the vicinity, Mary in a moment, and Shaman in a sector. If you're new to this channel, do a drive-by shootout on that subscribe button. You can't miss it, and click in the bell for notifications. Check out our previous podcast to comment and join the conversation. GKMSP brought to you by Mwik. I had to relax, give my brain time to contemplate how to pronounce it. Yes, Mwik creative, man with ideas. Check out the soundbite from Shaman, big things like one. Yes. What did we do musically this week, yeah?
Well. I am seeing Mari scratch his forehead. That means it's normally a telltale that something is cooking.
Yeah.
but let me take this one today. So there's something we've been doing, me and my friend, one of my very close friends. His name is Lex, and until recently we've been recording things separately. Kama kuna ngoma tulifanya inaitwa wali.
I saw that.
The animation was done by Delios. Of course, Vayne pale.
Wagwan, Delios, up on things.
Watu wanafaa kuangalia animation ni kali sana. But I don't think it's getting the right attention it deserves. Mari, what's going on?
I think there's an issue with the views. There's somewhere I saw it's an issue with views. It's the way you push it. Compared to a lyric video I done for Vioxy a couple of weeks ago, it has already gotten like 8,000 views. Yeah. So it depends on how mtu anaipush.
What are the options of pushing? Able to scale options za kupush.
I don't know. Maybe for Vioxy, he alikuwa naichocha every day. He did not even pay ipate views.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's something. So anyway, we are doing something called we're working on some project called Ndevu na Pua. Yeah, and it was on direction. Watu walisikiza opinions za Mari, the great philosopher. Slow but very sure. So this week we are finalizing on the agreement. Alafu tuone vile tutakuwa tukichocha hii story.
Yeah, Ndevu na Pua. Yeah. Sounds like one of those storybooks like we used to read. Is there some inspiration from that area?
Yes, we are throwing it back to basics, back to the start.
All right. Let's see. Me this week, we still been having a few things following up on photo shoots. And you remember Thomas Hype?
Yeah.
There's one. His album is supposed to come out this coming week, and he was featured on the Standard, and of course my name popped in somewhere in there.
I wanted to ask, is that the same guy that you featured? Is that the album that you featured in?
Yeah, same guy. Yeah, we've done I think I've chipped in on about 4 songs in there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's something to look forward to. Yeah. Keep an eye out.
But mimi nasema kwa jamaa ndo anapataga pesa za muziki. You've been featured in an album bana. Hizi pesa bado unakulaga sagapi?
The money hasn't yet come, so
the glory is yet to come.
Yeah. One step at a time though.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's about been my week.
Me musically, I'm still researching on the Mountain City project, so I'm still working on it a lot. I just been spending the whole week looking at local animations, Tanzanian animations, Nigerian animations, and doing some kidogo research. Can't say much about it because niko saizi niko process hiyo concept creation. So a lot of things run in the mind. The thing that I don't want to do is to have a product that has funny sound quality or funny physics in the animations. That is the key thing. I look at local or African animations and try not to end up in that mistake when doing this Mountain City animation.
Yeah. By the way, there are too? I haven't seen too many animations locally. Are there enough to go around and like say do your research?
Yeah.
The
Kwanzaa locally there are a lot. Locally ziko mob, especially even this one's for SWA, teaching kids how to bonga SWAs at TZ. Those guys get like 1.3 million views.
What?
You know?
Kenyan?
Yeah.
Or it is
No,
Tanzania?
I think it's Tanzanian.
It's crazy.
I think it's Tanzania. But Nigerian animations, those ones they get like obviously they are 3 million views.
Yeah.
But now it depends on their demographics. For the fact that doing this animation for the kids, we don't have to think too much about the storyline. So at least the animations and the sounds, we're looking to perfect it. We're looking to really make things look good.
Yeah. Oh, so animation's really not my area. So I'm new to
man.
what's happening in that field. Yeah.
It's like evolving from a musician to a rapper to like a full-blown animator.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the situation right now.
Interesting.
Usani have to sacrifice.
Oh man.
Speaking of sacrifice, what is going on in this Churchill thing?
Yeah. What's the apple, man?
I see what you did there.
He was giving wise words to artists, to Asani. It made me a little bit uncomfortable listening to him, because halfway to the conversation is making sense. Then the other half, I have so many questions in my head that he has not really addressed ever since they came up. But anyway, that is my opinion. Yeah.
I didn't see the
rant.
Yeah.
It's on social media, Mari.
Yeah, what was he saying? Like
plug back in.
From what I heard, he was telling guys, guys who go into the city, into Nairobi as comedians, they should work on their brands. But then again, they should not take fans as their family. The fans are not their family. The fans do not know the actual names. The fans do not know where they came back from.
Okay.
Yeah, they should consult like their family for guidance to be uplifted when they are not feeling when they are feeling down, rather than depend on a fan who tells you kuja mtangu taka kwa ikeja, do whatever you wanna do.
Yeah.
And also he talked about waking up early and putting the hustle in. Talked about waking up at 4. So you can imagine like somebody who is in a situation where the fans are just telling him, hey, you're awesome, anytime you do what you want. You wake up anytime you want. No discipline in your brand.
Yeah.
Basically.
Oh,
that was
interesting.
What was being talked about. And the guy ranted. He ranted kabisa. He was pissed off. It's weird to see a stand-up comedian
pissed off. Oh man, I should look at that.
Jalongo was there. Is it Jalango or
Jalango?
Jalango, yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
He was there interpreting Kiasi until Churchill just went off. Jalango akasema, let's stop the brakes, let him go on, man.
Wait, was it like an interview?
It was a funeral, man. It was a funeral.
Man. Oh, one of the comedians.
Yeah.
Interesting thing is, I think I've sort of spoken about this in one of the articles I've written, and it's sort of differentiating between fans and say friends or friends and family. A lot of artists don't realize that your family are not necessarily your fans, or your friends are not necessarily your fans, and the other way around. The two could intermingle, but it's good for any artist to have that distinction, because as an artist, when promoting a brand, you say, so to speak, it's like a business. And people you're doing business with are not necessarily your friends. They could be, but during the business, say, hours, they are your business, either partners or clients. And strictly speaking, I know the entertainment industry, the waters get a bit murky in those areas, and that's why it's good for artists to understand that having that separation between you and your brand, you and your business, your personal and your business, is important for you to succeed. Because if you have those intermixed, then you might confuse someone who genuinely has an affection for your art as a friend or, say, family. And you could assume that, say, if someone from, let's say, your friend circle or your family doesn't find your music, if you're a musician, doesn't find your music appealing, it is not a bad thing. It is not, they don't have to like your art. And understanding that will help you get genuine fans on one end, and also keep your personal life, say, in check or at par with whatever else you do.
But don't you think these two work hand in hand, brand and also personality? Because you can look at the case of a comedian, probably his fans or his so-called fans who are his family did not give a damn about his brand in Nairobi. They just kept to say maybe enabling him. And so the issue is like, if you have a disciplined brand, because there are some guys out there who require to wake up like, did I say this? Waking up at 4.
Oh yeah, you mentioned Churchill waking up at 4.
Yeah, that's what he said in one of those speeches. Those guys really get up early. They say it's not easy to try to really work hard and get their brand out there.
Yeah.
No, so if you have a disciplined brand, within the personality, it can at least structure you.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is true, and maybe to chip in or add on to what you're saying, someone's personality informs their brand, but the brand is not necessarily their personality. So, say, for example, for a stand-up comedian, and I'm not saying I'm an expert on stand-up comedy, but I think the laws of art and in the today's world of branding and having artist brands,
so to perform in arts in Kenya.
They have a lot in common. So say a stand-up comedian would borrow from the way they normally talk, and they would even put in some, say, life experiences which they translated to be funny, or which they can use to develop their
a hyperbolic character. Now that the issue in Kenya, as our comedians really don't talk about themselves, as compared to the standard comedians of Maju. I don't know.
But my take is a bit different, because I'm thinking we've become a system of reactions. Why is it that it's now that like okay, now he's mad or all that stuff? I had stories a while back that he doesn't pay well. He tends to be like, he has weird stuff going on with him that he brings to the set.
Like Akina Ellen? What happened to the Ellen show?
Like Mwalimu Recho, all those things when Mwalimu Recho, this Mwalimu what?
The Wanjiko, the comedian.
When she left, there were stories going around like, because I had a Churchill or whatever. They're bad deals, but it can't be a business deal in terms of personality. It can't be like your personality too. So there was some bad vibe going on, and we all know if there's something has been said wrong about you in the media, it's probably true. Right.
Well, what has been previously mentioned was that one not paying guys.
And being a little bit not disclosing. You see, like probably you're making so much and you're not paying them properly.
Or maybe maybe Akina Churchill are pulling off a WWE stunt on the local comedians, because what WWE are doing for the wrestlers, they are calling them independent contractors, and yet their Twitters, their Facebooks, they are barred from posting notes unless they are approved by WWE.
Yeah.
Okay. Like micromanaging
Yeah,
the brands.
but I don't know
Okay.
if that was the case here, maybe they would. I don't know.
That's why for me I'm not really all hands up like, oh yeah. Because this guy, no one disputes it. He's the king of comedy in Kenya.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah, no doubt.
So if there's anyone to impart that kind of knowledge, it's him. Okay. We don't have to see
maybe he's
him.
giving his comedians carte blanche. Do whatever you want.
Not really. My thinking is different.
Yeah.
Like you just come there, you do your jokes, and you go home. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, though I think I've had say, for example, before acts are staged, there's like rehearsal and going through, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But really, again, it goes to the mental state of the person you're working with.
Yeah.
Most employers, they don't care. COVID came and everyone is thinking, the companies are thinking about themselves.
Yeah.
The attitude changed from helping communities to fucking up communities in the name of profit. All right. So if at all we all agree here, this is showbiz, sindio? Matanga, wapi ni showbiz. So him being seen in public saying those things, whatever he said, since when, for example, will Bill Gates come and save the country? He says it needs to be depopulated, and then he gives you vaccines, which is the divide, for example. Yeah. So by the time someone is coming to say such a thing, you need to have like record. You know, maybe unapeleka watu, wanaambiwa investments, technique, how to handle yourself in this show business, because we all struggle. Unaona, kawa sana. By the time you figure out the shit.
Kwa sababu comedy Kenya imekuwa kuwa rockstar. People get to know you, really get up there, and then like any other rockstar, it's an overdose, it's something else, you know.
I think I'm not saying say Churchill is an angel or something, but my thinking is say looking at comedy from first of all, comedy is sort of a young industry in Kenya, and from what he's been able to do and achieve for himself, kudos to him.
Churchill alikuwa anasema sijui you spent 20 years building this.
Yeah, I think 20 years is pretty young for
the days of ridiculous.
And you see, that's when you could probably trace the industry of there were individuals practicing comedy, but the sort of building up of a structure for comedy was around that time. And Churchill was in there while it was, starting off. Yeah. And for what he's been able to do for himself, he's been able to achieve a lot. Now, my thinking is, say, for example, the issue with Teacher Wanjiko. From what I heard there's, and which I think I've seen sort of happening sometimes, is there were people trying to poach her to start her own show, which is the same thing that happened with Eric Omondi.
Yeah.
And you see, Eric Omondi, he was sort of poached, in quotes, and went and tried to do that, and it didn't work out. And he came back, and they're still in good terms.
It didn't work out. Anyway, that's a story for another time.
Though I think this is the thing. People, a lot of people look at the shiny aspect of the brand when it's up there, but don't appreciate the process it takes to get there. Now, having a structure that allows that to happen is where I would say Churchill has done a fairly good job. Now, if there's a structure for that to occur, each individual would have to follow their own process to get there. And I'm not saying that the structure is perfect, but what my thinking is, there's a lot of misinformation and naivety, so to speak, and I'm not throwing shade on anyone, but just putting out there, of what it takes to build a brand. And you see,
The funny thing is,
Yeah.
bad controversy, good controversy, brands are still built on that.
Yeah, and you see, understanding all that, that is what makes a brand. You'll find, and let me even chip in to a bit of politics. For example, Trump. And I'm speaking
Who's
this.
guy is that?
I'm speaking this from an entertainment industry point of view, of which he has a background in. Trump is a brand, right?
Yeah.
We'll all agree.
Yeah.
And you would say for
Remember him from
every...
You're Fired to, is it Miss Universe?
Yeah.
He's been on everybody's screens for decades.
Yeah, yeah. And you see, whatever...
See that girl's in Home Alone?
Yeah, he was?
Yeah. Home
What?
Alone movie.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Trump?
Yeah,
Okay,
that kid
interesting.
was being chased by those bandits, and then CG went to a building, and then it was actually the Trump building.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, carry on.
Interesting.
Carry on.
So, see, for example, Trump and a lot of politicians also have brands, which, for example, you find a page of a politician, that's indicative of a brand, right? So, the brand works with both good and bad press. And maybe they say there's no such thing as bad publicity, which is to some extent true for the brand. And if, for example, I was given an example of Trump, you see, people are always talking about Trump.
Yeah.
Whether he's done something good or something bad, they're always talking. And that is effective branding. And partially understanding the basics of building a brand would help, say, for example, a comedian to know how to handle press, whether it's bad or good, and how to, so to speak, control and manipulate it.
I think in due time, America will just start voting in Hollywood only.
It's not. I don't think that's too far off.
Yeah, because
Maybe.
it's like almost they're like looking for a deviation of, we don't want the politician himself, we want the celebrity politician, so to say.
You know, funny thing is,
There's something you said there.
Yeah.
That they want the what? The celebrity politician.
Yeah.
Now, we've been talking on this podcast for a long time now about professionalism, building a brand, and I don't think we are monopoly when it comes to that kind of talk. Or that discussion. There are so many people here who know. Because us growing up, we used to watch the guys who are now doing it. Go through their processes.
Yeah.
We're not going to call them names here because we've not been paid yet. So I could have placement. Now,
no placement.
The problem then comes when the guy is he's the manager, he's the content originator, he's the content creator, he's the director, he's the photographer, he's the in charge of marketing. That is not the idea of a good brand.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you realize the first people who see your content most of the time, if you are a creative, happens to be your family, okay?
Yeah.
Or your friends.
Yeah.
Who now then turn to be either your fans or your fuel. You know, either way, you need those guys too. But you don't have to. Churchill was saying you don't have to tell them you've eaten today, you've done this tomorrow. You know, you cut that off. You cut that off. Which for me that part made sense completely. Waking up at 4, it made a lot of sense. But now, looking at it retrospectively from that moment, like looking now back, it makes no sense. Okay, because this is like, I think the 5th guy or something for him to die like that. You know, funny stories.
I know, like every genre even has its losses. Hip hop, we've lost a lot of guys, the Kantais.
So it's up to these guys who then seem to be well put together to do something about it. I think they can do like workshops for this wasanii MCSK awalipangi watu basi wawapatie workshops.
Mental health also, you know, guys need to
na vitu kaa hizo ndio sasa Even now, you can stand there proudly and say, "You guys, why don't you call 97661 and talk to somebody? Before you get to such a thing. We've put these things here for you. Because they're the ones in charge. That's the truth. So, history, side show.
Yeah.
Let's do something, man. We agree.
Yeah.
Save Monday.
Save Monday, yeah.
We need saving from ourselves, all of us. Because they've done like 30 years plus, with this thing. We just started.
Yeah.
Tell a guy what to do, see.
Yeah.
And then let it be known that these things are there. Because I know the government has so many amenities, authorities, regulatory and all those things. But they are not working. They are not functional. They've been done like experience.
As we are going into fraudulent brands.
You see, like shell companies and stuff like that. What allocate vitu, There's a time we're talking about wealth transfer. You see, like the fish company being in Central and the fish coming from Kisumu. That's a joke.
Logistics, what the hell happened there?
Like who was making these decisions? Where were people, Like ninyi mmepanda chai hapa, inachunwa hapa, inapelekwa huko. Okay, when the money comes, where does it go? It goes the other side.
We're seeing the Nigerians are rioting. Lakini watu walibeba mbuzi. Mulicheki hizo? Holy shit. Mbuzi na bebwa nikani mtoto wa mzee. Nigeria is funny.
But you see, like Nigeria now, they've got there by virtue of the way their leaders have been. You see,
but Nigeria is super corrupt.
One guy embezzled 100 billion. Like, what?
Super corrupt, man.
There was
even an Emirates guy who was talking to this guy. Well, let's call him Hash Papi. He's a fraudulent Instagrammer Nigerian who was arrested couple of months ago in Dubai, having stolen more than 30 million from Americans' trust funds for old guys. So I think he started getting friends with a lot of scammers, because when he was arrested with almost 15 scammers from all over the world. So they were a crew. These guys going to a place, they buy Gucci, they do on Instagram, yo, Gucci, bang, bang, hush, and all that stuff. So anyway, what I was trying to say was, what was I even trying to say?
while you recap, I think when we're talking about, say, for example, comparing the Nigerian scene and how things are there. Say, for example, the issue of corruption.
I remember.
Oh yeah.
This Emirates guy told Hash. He told them live. Nigerian has everything. Nigeria has all oil, all resources and everything. The difference between your country and my country is its government.
Interesting. Because every time we go to the pod, I'm complaining about this and that, and people being the need for education. You need to educate yourself about relevant things. I had a rumor that in America they're doing away with the 1+1 useless mathematics in the syllabus, and we argued about it with Mari for a while. I'm not saying our education system is bad. I'm a product of the education system myself. Right? So there's no way it can be bad, but it was changed anyway. I don't know if that makes us, how do they say, complacent? Because the system now, we are a result of a faulty system.
It was recently, I saw a video of some teachers ordering some prefects to smash smartphones that were confiscated. It's not okay to go at smartphones kwa chuo. Imagine the madness that can happen. Watoi wangapi wanatetesha their paroles and stuff like that. But then again, you would rather have taught them how to use these smartphones, like introduce that technology in the syllabus,
Like the way the government said it's going to give out free laptops, and there had been no transition period. At this one, sasa tutafundisha walimu, will introduce the program fully.
Because I'm probably sure the government were just looking for some guys to create a contender company, a cooler. Because that's how it happens.
Funny thing you say that. There was a president in Zambia who said, someone correct me, who said that when elected as president, he will buy each and everybody shoes.
Oh, okay.
He was elected. people started asking about their shoes. And he responded saying, it is not practical for me to know each and everyone's shoe size. Therefore, I am indisposed of performing that obligation as promised. And that was the end of the case. Surely.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the con, but even the explanation makes no sense.
Yeah.
You give the guy, how much is the shoes? Give the guy the money for the shoes, you know? I don't have to bring you actual shoes. You can imagine him buying shoes for everybody. But it goes back to what
fraudulent brands and governments.
Governance. What's the governance?
Yeah.
And we are in deep. We are knee deep right now.
My thinking is, I think these issues, I think, highlight similar, say, issue or pattern that cuts across all these. And you see, for example, we're talking about a structure that enables people to, say, for example, produce fraudulent brands and make it big while doing fraudulent activities. Now, we were at one point speaking on the education system. And my thinking is, yes, we are all products of an education system, which could be or could not be faulty, depending on your point of view.
It is faulty. We'll get to it later.
Okay.
This doesn't work,
now,
man.
Yeah, my thinking is, as much as we are products of a faulty education system, what we learn from the system determines what we do. And I think people, whatever you do in school or learn in school, say, so to speak, is not necessarily, it's not about what you learn in school, it's about how you apply it. And I think the system, say, of governance, for example, in our country, is faulty. Yes,
it's a fraud.
It's it is. It is based. It is. You could say the system is built on corruption.
Yeah.
And you see, the corruption does not mean a system built on corruption does not mean that everyone in it is corrupt. It means that it is an opportunity, I think, for individuals to either use what they have learned from the system to fix it, or take advantage of it and benefit regardless of what is happening.
Ndio maana wasanii wanafaa kuwa kioo cha jamii. You know, if now we need to have honest conversations, Mari. You agree?
Yeah.
So, I am not wrong in saying about honest conversations. Where does it start? As an artist, you're signed to something, right? For example, here in Kenya, I've heard nowadays people are getting signed. However, I don't know. So when you shoot a music video, it cannot be that from morning to evening, una watch to mahaga kwa screen, okay? And seeing people in expensive posh places, looking flashy, you know, that is not the idea of the music. That should never have been allowed in the first place, because that is garbage.
Millennials and Zoomers.
Sasa. If you should, you know, we're being told about people promoting this and that, and you know, the family unit. How many adverts? How many visuals do we see on TV? That is the essence of being alive. For example, when they're talking about panga uzazi, what are the reasons given for panga uzazi? Okay? What are the options given for panga uzazi? What is the agenda for panga uzazi? You see, wanasema mashamba zimeisha place fulani. So msizaane. Okay? If this thing is funny because people take it for granted. You know, when you're being given numbers and whatnot. Mari, the other day you were telling me about the world, I don't know, half of the population who are married, they end up in divorces. And you asked me if I know anyone who's been divorced.
Yeah.
And I could come up with any.
Yeah, I think the statistic is they say 50% of all marriages end up in divorce.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Experts
the question experts say. The question I pose to you personally, and maybe to anyone who's listening, is out of all the married people you know, are half of them divorced?
Fraudulent marriages.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Let me rephrase that. Out of all the people you know that have gotten married, are half of them divorced? That would be the essence or the significance of the percentage or the statistics.
Yeah. Now back to what I was saying.
Yeah.
If you ride on such statistics,
Yeah.
then it should make sense on the ground, right?
Yes.
But because people have been subservient, now wasanii ndo wanafaa kuwa wana reflect this thing in society. They've been sponsored, wako Masai Mara, wana bonfire.
Yeah.
I don't know how that can be the content that you're constantly showing, even in your own page.
Yeah.
You see? And that's why the branding comes in handy. This guy cannot pay you 200 and it's you living that life in actual sense. It can't be. Who are you? Wewe ni nani? Wewe usims unaenda trips Dubai every day. That is not a reality. That's why msana jinyonga. Wapata msanii come to kwa industry like 3 months. He's been paying 50,000 for a music video, 20,000 for an audio, and then he's not involved the right people even to the song. The song is work as it comes. Any madiaba tu ni kutimisha madiaba ameweka kwa YouTube. The views are not coming. He's buying views now, irrelevant views. Amenda kalipa wase sijui 15,000 wampatie 10,000 views kwa page. Amepata 10,000 views kwa page. Na do haijakam say. Do haijakam.
That nigga should reread the contract. Kitu hapo. The sponsors wanakula. Talking about fraudulent brands. If you guys are aware of Tesla Motors. Yeah. So there was also a time when there was this also Nikola Motors. So you know the funny thing about Nikola Motors, they are trying to compete with the Tesla to create an electric semi-truck under this guy called Trevor Milton. The issue of this guy called Trevor Milton, this Arizona CEO, he has backward cases of frauds.
Okay,
He
like
has a
in his
history,
past,
yes. He has a history of fraudulent behaviors. Businesses buying them out, taking money out. So the thing is, people need to see these telltale signs of fraudulent behavior. Like for example, when this Nikola presented his electric truck, you know the way like the way Elon Musk did it with Tesla. But now the difference is this electric truck, he's calling it hydrogen. And their technology is much better than Tesla and all that. But the thing is, they have never sold a single unit of a vehicle to anybody. The issue now is when they merge with GM, it becomes a big company on the stock market, not in actual assets.
Wait. You're saying they built a concept and claimed to have sold units.
No.
Or build a concept.
This is what is coming out. We'll start a factory and then we'll start to manufacture this. Partners come in. GM, you know, they are a government American company. They even went all the way to Trump's doorstep and presented an SUV concept. Yes. So that was obviously fraudulent behavior, because what actually people started noticing is like that truck that they were showing on the screen was actually a mock-up of a truck going down a hill. The cameraman adjusted it to make it look like it was moving. That was fraud. That is fraud number one. Another fraud is the site where they are building the factory. Right now, Elon Musk is working super hard on building his Austin factory, karibu na Texas. Makes sense because there's a highway and there's an economy over there. But now this other guy, Trevor Milton, he's built his in the Arizona desert, not even next to Las Vegas. So you know the reason why you build Las Vegas is because here there are no resources to eat up. So you bring people into a gambling capital. Makes sense. Like maybe build a Las Vegas, maybe in Turkana, because it will make sense there. But now
the government is listening, because that's a business idea right there.
But now this guy has taken a plot of, it's actually in the middle of a farmland, and he said here is where the factory for hydrogen electric truck will be made. Now, if you look right now, even that government, that county there said, hey, Nicola do not have a permit to build here. So when you look at that camera views of what's going on, you just see trucks pushing sand, taking sand here, taking sand there, taking sand there. Now, notice these guys, they are wasting time. Because when you compare to Tesla, Elon Musk's Austin ground where he's building a gigafactory, you see foundations coming in. You see cranes. You see the ground is
progress
practically been removed. 100 tractors. Ukienda kwa Nicola site, there's no movement.
Wait,
there's completely no movement.
Are you
there
suggesting?
are a few trailers and a few trucks. Now here's the funny thing. These guys are waiting for December because on December, this company is going to go out. So people are now buying stocks back. Trevor Milton took out 30 million to buy himself a mansion, and yet the factory to make even the first production unit has not been built. Trevor Milton was fired last month. So you see, you have to check these telltale signs of fraudulent behavior.
That sounds like a major scandal.
It's a major scandal. If you guys remember Theranos, Elizabeth Holmes, that's the same thing that is going on.
Now,
What?
borrow the same
That is
concept
crazy.
and come home.
Now let's go to BBI.
The chicken get home to roast.
Yeah.
Now we're being told that. Let me start with that BBI thing. It's a good example. It's come up. Now, if first of all they spread the propaganda that any online issue, BBI is fake. The original ones will be given on the ground where they are conducting the rallies. When I heard that, I was annoyed. To say less, I was annoyed. Maybe come up Sani. I have a 9 to 5. Okay, that since Sana hailipi, I have a 9 to 5 to supplement my lifestyle. Okay. Then the reason why these guys are in government in the first place is because they said moving from analog to digital. How come the fucking BBI thing is fake all over online? That means I can't read anything online. Is that what you're saying? You have a government website.
It is available online.
Is it?
Bro, when they say the one being spread online is fake, that means whatever you're getting that's true, right?
So the ones in the hands of the big guys is the actual one.
The one that wanapeana kwa ground. Tell me, how many people go to the ground to listen to this guy's mal about nothing? How many guys, for example, I'm not hating, but people wonder how some people end up in the ballot box, Kumbe they go for preliminaries. We hear people are fighting with chairs. And how someone says, I paid for this seat. I paid for this seat. I got the seat. True to the word, when you get a seat in some political parties, it's like a clean sheet. Like, it's a home stretch. You're running, Okondani, you can as well just go to Dubai. And then, ukifika kwa ballot box, you're so surprised, like, who am I going to give? Because no one there makes sense.
But the issue with the BBI is the first thing that they are trying to campaign for.
Wait, I'm getting there. I'm waiting there. So when you get it there, you're surprised, like, who the fuck is this on the ballot box? But you missed the preliminaries. Wakati ilianza sijui kwa chama nini. Na hizo vitu wataki wase wajue.
I remember even when it was starting out, they were not giving out information on what the content of the BBI
all
is.
Of a sudden it's
which
ready.
was,
There's no time for conversation.
Which was, I found that absurd, because how can you push for people to sign up to something when you're not telling them what it is?
Basically,
that is just, I don't know, should I call it retarded?
It's what has worked. You see, unfortunately, that kind of behavior has worked for a very long time. And you see, when you're growing up, for example, unasikia ukiongelea stories za Moi, unadisappear. Ukiongelea stories za Moi, unafinywa. Something. Unafinywa. So people never talked about it, and they never asked questions. I was referring from Maju, those things, like those deals, they're happening here.
Yes.
You see, and they're in the form of BBI. Then you ask yourself, What is this BBI? Who's it going to benefit? If everyone is saying, BBI, at they appoint someone to supervise a whole arm of the government, then they increase the executive arm.
Yeah.
What will end up? 360 MPs, what for, man?
Because for me, even I don't know much about the BBI, but the first agenda that the media is spreading is that increasing the national wage, getting more guys in sijui 2 new sijui executive prime minister sijui who. So it's like you start the BBI like that. We want to increase national wage. We want to put more people into the government.
Which is actually
distribute the national cake better.
But it's actually, in actual sense, it's being distributed to the elite.
What it is they want to have a better reach of the common man. For example, bro, why do you need 5 people to manage a population that 1 can manage? In fact, none should even be there. Because we already have
smaller than the state of Texas, man.
We have so many parastatals, bro. Like, what are they supposed to do if there's a government? Why are they making it so hard for the common man to have actual communication with the guy that is in power? They're making it so many middlemen. Even the information will be distorted. We all know that.
So even when it comes to accountability, check this committee, talk to that nini, check to this organization.
It goes for years, and before you change it again. When you say that, the 1 shilling thing, you had that civil servant who was awarded 1 shilling. That is bizarre, bro. What are we doing? Like, and that's what.
Oh wait, what did they do? Like,
so
what happened?
She was fired from work, from the government office, and she went to court for unfair dismissal, right?
Oh, okay.
She won the case. And she was given an award, which was 1 shilling.
Oh.
And the media took it up like a hot story, you know. It was a hot story. Everyone was talking about it. Like, what is this? What is this? And we just spoke about good publicity, bad publicity. Now everyone is distracted, and then they're talking about the BBI with stupid things like those. How can? Let me not use bad words, but I respect my elders personally. But this time round, they have got it wrong.
Completely.
It just shows they have no interest whatsoever in preserving the future for Kenya. How can we? There will be no future if we continue like this.
Huge public debt, man.
My thinking is, as far as we're talking about, say the structure of the current system of governance is there is a state which is dependent on the economy for sustenance, of which the economy is built out of businesses running. Now, if I'm to give an example, say, of KQ, a business running sustainably is supposed to work.
It was running so well in the earlier years.
And
until that gain glasses came through.
And
that's when it started going down. There was also the big project for expanding the flight base. That's where it completely went wrong, horribly wrong. They bought fraudulent planes from sister companies, connections from some KLM, Froda, Ukondani. They bought bad planes. Ethiopia says it's better than Kenya Airways.
And at one point, Kenya Airways was the leading airline in Africa.
That SkyTeam deal. That SkyTeam deal fucked everything up.
And my thinking is, say, I'm looking at it from a broader perspective. Any business is essentially can only be sustained if it generates profit.
True.
So how is KQ still sustained with losses over several years?
Easy response to it. If I can my first
and
KQ used to have profits. It's now the eating of that profits.
And you see, I'm not just pointing out KQ. This is a global phenomenon, right?
Yes.
There's so many companies, international companies, which are run with losses over several years and are still running.
Okay.
And
Here's the thing. Mari, before you go on too long.
Okay, sure.
Here's the thing. There's this thing that just came out about the laptop from hell. You know, if you're following the American politics, they're calling it the laptop from hell. And the laptop has some information about Joe Biden's dealings, yeah? The way he'd come to a country, and his kickback is equity in the company, and annual returns of so much.
Like Ukraine and the energy sector.
So, think about it like this. Last time we were talking about Facebook coming here. It's a good example. Let's be a little bit practical. Facebook is so well connected that it can have permits to deal in most countries in the world. Who do they know in Kenya? I don't know. Nobody knows, right? But they're in Kenya, effectively operating business here. There's so much they do that goes unchecked. And yet we have regulatory bodies, right? Including paka zile za wasanii ziko ndani tu. Because you know, by the time, for example, Facebook is playing something, you know, you need the logs. We need to see how you're paying our people, you know, something like that. That MCSK should start morphing probably to take care of online distribution. I don't know if they do that. I don't know.
That's logo.
In fact, maybe to answer that, they are not supposed to be doing that. They
should start thinking about it. You know, we're talking about changing with the times. Who is collecting online proceeds, royalties for Kenyan artists?
Now, maybe to just clarify, I think looking at the current structure of things, MCSK wouldn't be the proper body to handle that.
Where would we begin?
Now, my thinking would be
form another committee.
It's a wide issue, but maybe to summarize it, it's there's different aspects of different of the music, say royalty collection, that people need to understand for that to work. So I would say, for example, I would put out there, just for example, the role of a publisher covers that pretty well.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mari, you need to listen to me again.
Yeah.
If anyone is handling, okay, let's just even go to the government side, yeah?
Yeah.
The government should engage stakeholders who are in the creative arts. To engage them with the intention of establishing some sort of body that will deal or address the issues to do with online streaming and royalties. That's why I'm talking about things like workshops. These workshops work elsewhere. They should come here and probably even start telling people, hey, by the way, if you are online, unafaa kudistribute hivi na hivi na hivi na hivi. Because that's how you're going to save mandem. It's not going to save mandem if you're telling us this is beyond our scope. Bro, you're the guys handling it now, okay? How are you doing it? How can you do it for online? You're telling me we don't have people who are capable to do it online.
I remember there's a policy somewhere that says governments are not actually supposed to make profits. Governments are supposed to come in, establish industries that can go for a long time. In this way, they will teach people how to do something. So even when the private business starts up, the government, even though that government sector has lost, you still have individual in sources, guys who are within the country who can carry on that industry.
Thank you. Interesting analogy. And maybe since we said we're being real about the situation on the ground. Now, for example, taking the example of Kenya, do we expect the same government that is handling issues, say, for example, of BBI, and is known for rampant corruption, and I'm not pointing any fingers or naming any names, to handle, say, for example, the issue of handling artist benefits? The same government that is known for taking advantage of the common mwananchi, give them another responsibility of handling more money for the same mwananchi on a different aspect.
I am afraid we have made this thing so political. Our podcast has no role to play politically.
Now, my thinking is, I was bringing that out maybe to highlight the root of certain issues in our industry. For example, the running of a business, which we all agree a brand is meant to be a business of sorts, as an artist. If the running of the brand, the system of running brands is not given to the same people who are expected to run those brands. For example, we were talking about fraudulent companies and fraudulent activities. And I'm not, again, pointing any fingers or naming names, but you find a brand that has made it big, not because of running a proper business, but because of being sustained by other fraudulent activities. And that same brand being given a platform to represent or be like a goal for other brands to achieve. Isn't that a fallacy in itself, in the whole system?
Having hit the nail proper,
Very true.
we should wind up.
Let me raise my remarks on the BBI.
Okay.
About, I don't support the BBI, and I think guys don't believe us.
Yeah.
Go out there, read that document.
Yeah, if you can find it.
If you can find it. If they want us to attend the rallies to get the BBI copies, we shall attend the rallies to get those. In fact, that's a hard copy. You cannot make that shit up again.
Yeah.
So that we look at it, but even from the basis alone, that it wants to increase the wage bill for the common mwananchi, it should fail on that basis by itself. That alone should be an order. They need to implement its constitution as passed, at least by 50%, and then we can talk about amendments. For now, tuchape kazi, tuache side shows. We stop how do you say, distracting Kenyans with drama. Mazi, tuko showbiz sana. Tuko showbiz.
Yeah. From fraudulent brands to a very fraudulent month to fraudulent country policies. Yes, it's the Gatekeepers Musically Speaking Podcast. GKMSP, Season 2, Episode 9. Would have continued, but we gotta wind it there. Next episode, The Time Machine. You know how it is. Premiering Tuesday at 9 p.m. Verbal, Vayne in the vicinity. Marry in a moment, Shaman in the sectors. GKMSP, Booyaka, 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 booyaka.